Now, let me just preface this by saying I've got no interest in talking about these people every single day. I mean, I could talk about that tire fire every single day, but I really don't want to. In fact, it's the last thing on my mind. I do not want to do this, but they leave me no choice. Yesterday, it was because manager Mickey Callaway was mother bleeping reporters in the clubhouse. Also yesterday, because veteran starter Jason Vargas allegedly yelled at a reporter, and I quote, "I'll knock you the bleep out, bro," and then had to be restrained by a couple of teammates. So, I figured that would be my Mets take for the month, but it's not. And you know it's a bad day when you get hammered by Philadelphia 13-7, and that's the best moment of your day. That's because before the game, Callaway met with the media and was asked if he was sorry for his actions in mother bleeping that reporter. And of course, Callaway handled that about as well as he handles his team, which is to say he handled it terribly. That's literally one of the worst answers I've ever heard to an easy question. Billy Martin punched a guy one time, and I've got to be up here apologizing for this. It's not like I killed anybody. What, are you going to tell me that Connie Mack never F-bombed a reporter? I'm sure that John McGraw probably challenged a number of reporters to duels. Yet I'm up here apologizing for mother bleeping somebody. It's an amazing apology presser when the presser does not actually include an apology. And the team has to call the media a second time to make him try and get it right and do it all over again. That is the best. And that's exactly what happened. Shortly before the game last night, the media was called back so he could run it back. And this time, he said that he did meet with the reporter, Tim Healy, and he did apologize. You might not be proud of it, but I got to be honest, Skip, I'm really proud of you. Because nothing says I'm sorry and I regret it more than needing 2 shots to say, I'm sorry, and I regret it. All this guy had to do was apologize, and it would have been over. Instead, he cites Billy Martin punching a guy and says he's just that competitive. And since he butchered it so badly, the team had to call all the media back and give him a chance to do it again. So while the manager was lighting himself on fire, Jason Vargas, the guy who threatened a reporter and said, quote, "I'll knock you the bleep out, bro," unlike his manager, absolutely, unequivocally owned his actions. No, he did not. I think it's unfortunate for all the parties. I think it's an unfortunate distraction. Way to own that, JV. That's what I call leading from the front, being accountable and responsible for what you say and what you do. And what you say is, "I'll knock you the bleep out, bro." And what you do is run across the room in order to say it. And best of all, this isn't even the most embarrassing thing about this team, because all of this overshadows the fact that Mickey Callaway, the manager, is not actually managing the team. According to the New York Post, GM Brodie Van Wagenen is managing the team by text message from his home. Quote, according to an industry source, it was the rookie GM who instructed Mickey Callaway to remove Jacon DeGrom from a game in Arizona earlier this month in which the Mets ace sustained a hip cramp. After DeGrom was removed from the game, in the 7th inning, the bullpen imploded in a loss that added to the frustration of a 2-5 road trip. The source said Van Wagenen, who was watching the game at home on TV, communicated with a member of the Mets support staff with an order to remove DeGrom from the game. Callaway complied with the order, and DeGrom was visibly upset as he departed the field, certain that he could continue pitching. End quote. Man, the Mets, they're freaking awesome. It does not get any better than that. Well, at least for me. You tell me what's better than a manager mother bleeping reporters and needing 2 tries to apologize for it while comparing himself to Billy Martin and saying that putting reporters to sleep is part of the game. And a GM watching the games on television and texting about pitching changes. Only the Mets. You go across town, I could put the Yankees on the clock for 10 years and none of that would happen, much less all of it. But that's how truly embarrassing the Mets are to themselves, their fans, and all Major League Baseball. I mean, that story should be so much bigger because it's so embarrassing and it's so absurd that BVW is skating right now because Callaway could not handle the basics of a press conference. Unless BVW is texting him and telling him to drop those 12-letter bombs on reporters. Even better, according to the Post, the text that was sent by BVW regarding DeGrom was, quote, "Get him out of there." Quote, "Get him out of there." If that's true, that's the best too. I mean, that's like something a fan would tweet, not what a GM would text. And when BVW was asked by Mike Vaccaro about the report that he's managing his manager, BVW's response was, quote, "This organization is about teamwork and collaboration and the ability to trust the manager on an everyday basis," end quote. Yeah, why don't you throw a little blue cheese or Thousand Island on that crappy word salad, BVW? Oh, but then again, when you think of the Mets, aren't those the things you think of immediately? Teamwork, collaboration, and trusting the manager. Of course, all of that. And mother bleeping reporters and threatening them. You guys are the best. I would say never change, but I know I don't have to because you can't change and you won't change because you all think you're killing the game, even as you're threatening to kill your beat reporters. Hey, Mick. Hey, Brodie. See you both tomorrow. I know I will. And probably right here at the top of the program once again. I don't want to talk about these guys. I really don't, but they leave me no choice. 1-800-636-8686. It's toll free. 1-800-636-8686. Hey, remember that time when Tommy Lasorda got into it with that guy from the Daily News and put him in an armbar? Choked him out? Remember that? You remember that? Hey, remember when Joe Torre took offense to something somebody from the Post said and hit him with a trachea blast? Who will ever forget that? Remember that? Oh, man, you know what was great? When Tony La Russa was in Oakland back in the day, and somebody was getting into him about Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire, and he put that guy in the chokehold, and he turned purple, and he choked him out, he said. Remember that? Yeah, I don't remember any of those things happening because they didn't. Only the Mets. Only the Mets.